Heyo, welcome into the CHGO White Sox pregame show presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Welcome into Studio A here in our CHGO offices in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm Sean Anderson, the host of the CHGO White Sox pregame show. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. We are previewing the White Sox versus the Blue Jays, Game 2 of a 3-game series up in Toronto. It will be Michael Kopech versus Hyun-Jin Ryu on the bumps tonight. The White Sox fell back below 500, having their 24th loss last night. They fell to 23-24. What are we expecting? How are we feeling? Herb, how you feeling today going into the Game 2 of the Game 3 series versus Toronto?
I mean, yesterday's.
I didn't even introduce you guys.
Sorry,
you didn't. You
don't
dove right into it.
They don't even know who we are.
I was waiting
God.
for the normal spiel, and there was no spiel
Where are
to
my
be
manners?
had.
Where are my manners? Alongside me, as always, Vinnie Duber. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's the CHGO White Sox beat writer. And alongside me in the middle, Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. How are you guys feeling?
About the game that's coming up?
Just in general. I'm feeling a little
Life is all right.
frazzled, I guess.
It's nice, crisp 65 outside. I like that. It's perfect.
Not too
The
hot?
game, great. They played a good game besides a couple of the mistakes last night. I like to see the run production. I like to see the 13 hits they got. And if we can carry that over versus a lefter and Hyun-Jin Ryu, who the ERA you see, it's like 4 or 5 plus. Don't get fooled by that. It was 2 bad starts at the beginning of the year, and then he went on the IL. So he's going to be a tough pitcher, but he also is a left-hander who the White Sox usually handle well.
I mean, it's all about Michael Kopech, right? It seems like it's been a month since we've seen this guy. I think it's only been a little over a week, but still, last time out he was jaw-droppingly good, and that was against the best team out there, at least at the time. Not haven't looked, at the standings today to see if they're still the best team in baseball or the best offense in baseball. But that Yankees team is stacked, as White Sox fans know all too well after watching 7 games against them that the White Sox played, and Kopech shut them down. So you got to be able to see. I think I was reading Daryl's piece on him earlier from today, and it really jumped out. The test now is, can he handle the rest, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, like it's every new challenge for Kopech this year is, let's see how he can handle this. Let's see how he can handle that. Obviously, they're resting him a little bit to try and make sure that he's extended and can pitch all the way into October, they hope. But now it's, how's he going to handle not pitching in 10 days?
Right. And also, too, like, it feels like if this might be like one of the last obstacles, because it's like, can he pitch like a starting pitcher? And we've seen those innings and those outings go from 4 innings to 5 innings to 4 innings to 6 innings to 6 innings to 7 innings. Like, it really feels like he's more comfortable in this starting pitcher role. And also then, too, like, how much can he really be comfortable with this rest schedule? Because if he looks like he does every time out against the Yankees, then I think the White Sox really, have every other 6th day or 7th day figured out, and then it's going to be a weird rotation. But as long as that guy's pitching like he is, as effective as he is, they got a real winner in him.
It's interesting because, when they talk about the challenge of becoming a starting pitcher and moving to that major league rotation for a full season, when you talk to guys like Lance Lynn and Lucas Giolito about Michael Kopech, what they say is, well, let's see if he can take the ball every 5 days and how he can handle going at it every 5 days. Lucas talks so frequently about how committed he is to that routine of his, of that every 5 days, I'm doing this, I'm doing this on day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Kopech has talked a little bit about being a similar way, a creature of habit, a guy who likes to get into that starter's routine. Now he's basically had to go through it twice between starts. So we'll see how it works out. Some of those guys maybe don't like the extra rest quite as much. I think Giolito probably would fall into that category, but Obviously, they're doing it for a reason with Michael Kopech. Let's see if it has the positive effect that it had on a guy like Carlos Rodon last year.
Well, and it's funny too that you mentioned it's been almost months since we've seen Michael Kopech. Also, it's been almost months since we've seen Luis Robert. Last game Michael Kopech played in, same game Luis Robert last played in. He's returning after a COVID IL stint after playing the doubleheader against the Yankees. He went on the COVID IL stint, missed a couple series, but Luis Robert is back in the lineup. The talk of the town, mainly Toronto, and just Daryl Van Schouwen and Tony La Russa talking to each other.
So the talk of the visitors' dugout.
Exactly. Is Luis Robert is going to be able to play center field tomorrow, but it's more just about getting his stamina back. What does Luis Robert being in this lineup, Herb, mean? We see him batting, I think, cleanup today. Not at the top of the lineup, not one or two. But what do you look when you see Robert back in that lineup?
I'm sure Hyun-Jin Ryu sees, oh man, that's tough. I would have rather face Adam Engel. Yeah, seeing Luis Robert in the middle of the order, it's going to be terrifying for opposing pitchers. And for the White Sox, it's got to be a great boom for him, for them to see him there, especially hitting fourth cleanup. I think probably his best position is third or fourth in the lineup for me, but him being back just gives you another weapon you can attack Hyun-Jin Ryu with. He's going to be fantastic when he actually reaches his level. He's not come close to his potential yet, and we've seen spectacular things out of him already. I'm just excited to have him back in the lineup because he's one of the best players, and I think we both picked him for being the MVP this year. That ship is probably sailed on that, but he's going to still put up some numbers at the end of this.
It's fun to be optimistic. Fred's dropping a stat that I didn't realize, but it is true. I have verified it, and it kind of tells you the craziness of Luis Robert's career. But this will be Luis Robert's first game in the month of June.
It's just like how Andrew Vaughn faced a AAA pitching for the first time. Last month when he was on that rehab assignment, right? It's that kind of wacky stat.
Yeah, making his debut in 2020. Obviously, they skipped June completely, and then last year he was hurt for all of June, and well, here now June's coming.
That sounds great because, like, when he played in 2020, he was phenomenal up until the last couple of weeks, and when he played and came back after the injury last year, outstanding. So if he comes back and plays like he did in those 2 years, man, watch out, American League.
Well, and it felt too like right before he was, he went to the COVID IL, it really felt like he was turning things around as well. It really felt like he was in a really nice groove, had that game-winning home run in Kansas City, had a hit streak that you put together a graphic for, Steven. I think it was a 14-game hit streak. It really felt like he was in a groove. So, if we see what we saw from the White Sox offense last night, and you add Luis Robert onto that, and you add A.J. Pollock onto that, it really does feel like this lineup might be getting a little bit more dangerous and dangerous. Kyle asking, why isn't Moncada on the IL if he isn't going to play, apparently? Let's look at the starting lineups for the White Sox, and we can kind of talk about where Moncada fits in and when we might see him. Leading off for the White Sox, the returning A.J. Pollock in left field. Second, Andrew Vaughn batting.
Pointing right at it.
Andrew Vaughn in right field, batting second. Jose Abreu batting third, playing first base. Batting fourth, Luis Robert. He's telling you where he is. He's being the designated hitter tonight. Batting fifth, Jake Berger playing third base. Batting sixth, Leury Garcia playing second base. Batting seventh, Adam Engel playing out in center field. Batting eighth, Herb's guy, Reese McGuire, doing the catching. And ninth, Danny Mendick playing shortstop.
Steven, I feel like with that graphic, like you should keep that handy for maybe every day for the rest of the year. And so you put, I know you like to change up which player you put on there. That's who goes on the left. And then on the right, it's always Luis Robert, but he slides up and down depending on where he's batting in the
I can
lineup.
make that happen. There's going to be a lot of Luis Robert in these graphics moving forward. Then.
And I think, too, when you're on the Imagen site where we get all the USA Today photos and stuff, just look for any pointing White Sox. And now you have to make this your bit.
Maybe like by the end of August, you'll have like everyone on the roster, and the graphics can just be super crowded, but everybody's pointing to their own name.
It's going to be really hard having Larry Garcia point down all the time, though. Do we have graphics like that?
You could rotate him. You could flip him. Say he's doing this, you flip him around, and he's pointing like right where he needs to be.
I try to pick a guy that's really relevant in each day's lineup. Today is obviously Luis Robert, so yeah, it's just gonna be hard finding which way they point.
I can't wait for the Danny Mendick point.
I've actually done this before. This is the first time you guys noticed me doing that.
Oh, I know Vaughn did it once. I think we noticed with Vaughn, but we'll keep it up. We'll keep our eye out for it. But going back to Kyle's question, why is Moncada on the IL if he's going to play? What we heard is that he will be playing tomorrow.
Yeah, as we've mentioned, Daryl a whole ton because he's the only guy up there in Toronto right now, so he's been invaluable in relaying information back to Chicago. But yeah, he tweeted earlier that Tony said, he didn't want to risk that whole day game after a night game situation where you throw Moncada out there and he's maybe, still not 100% all the way back, or he dips back below 100% because of what he has to do exerting himself tonight. And then they got Alek Manoah on the hill tomorrow for Toronto. The White Sox want a lot of, or as many, left-handed batters as they can get in that lineup. Moncada's switch hitting ability could make him a lefty tomorrow. Want to make sure he's in there versus being in there tonight. Obviously, they'd like him to be in there every day, but as he gets over this little health issue, they want to make sure they can have him give him the best chance to succeed.
And I thought, too, why wasn't Grandal doing the catching tonight after being the DH? Obviously, Robert can't play the field right now, so he's going to be at the DH. But I thought that Grandal could catch and then maybe DH tomorrow, but it does look like you'll have Grandal be the catcher tomorrow. And it did. The quote from Tony was, because tomorrow we need every left-hander we can get in the lineup versus Manoah. So that's their strategy tomorrow. And there was a question,
not a bad one either, because we looked at the splits. But Manoah's, I think, hit righties are hitting 100 or 108, I think it was, against Manoah. Lefties hitting over 300 against him. So.
Smart strategy.
There you go.
So, with that strategy, you probably see my guy Reese McGuire in there tomorrow, too. Let's go.
Maybe. We'll see.
Hey, man. It was great last night. Come
Three
on
straight
now.
starts. That'd be something.
Sullying the good name of my guy Reese McGuire.
He is your guy. Fred saying, just saw Tony's comments about Moncada. Can someone tell him how bad his left-handers have been against righties? I mean, he's still got to use them. And also the White Sox are horrible against sliders, and Alek Manoah has one of the best sliders in Major League Baseball. So I at least give them a fighting chance at seeing some sliders. I think it's a smart choice. We'll see if it pays off. It's we can't second guess it. The game's tomorrow. Let's play this game before we start second guessing tomorrow's lineup. An update too on Moncada. This is from our guy Bruhan Luke. You mentioned Manoah hitting a right-hander hitting 108. He's a 108er. So fitting right there. Bruhan Luke, who's up in Toronto, saying Moncada so far in batting practice has hit one over the fence in straightaway center and put one on the second deck in left field. And then right after that, he had hit another one up to the second deck. So maybe Moncada's feeling better. We will see how he looks tomorrow. All
Hopefully, right. Alek Manoah is throwing the same kind of batting practice pitches that Moncada got today.
That's the thing is, as long as he's getting batting practice at pitches, he's probably hitting them over the fence. Let's go to the Jays starting lineup and see who will be going up against Michael Kopech. You have Santiago Espinal playing second base and leading off for the Blue Jays. Bo Bichette playing shortstop, batting second. Batting third, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. playing first base. Batting fourth, Teoscar Hernandez playing right field. Batting fifth, Alejandro Kirk doing the designated hitting. Batting sixth, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. playing left field. Batting seventh, Matt Chapman playing third base. Batting eighth, Danny Jansen doing the catching duties, the guy KPW told us to watch out for. And batting ninth, Raimel Tapia playing center field. Herb, Alejandro Kirk is the player photoed right there. That's his home run off of Lucas Giolito. I rewatched that, and it was a beautiful piece of hitting by Kirk, a guy that they apparently have to watch out for in the lineup.
Which home run?
That was the slider. That was the
legitimate
second
home
one.
run?
Yeah.
Okay, not the pop fly? Okay, yeah. Kudos to him. It looks like they have that middle of the lineup pretty much all the same and just replace Espinal and Tapia at the top and bottoms of the lineup. So I wasn't too worried about the lineup. I mean, I'm worried about the lineup, but Lucas handled the hard hitters pretty well and couldn't get past Alejandro Kirk. Let's see if Michael Kopech can shut these guys down like Lucas did for the most part, and then find a way to get Alejandro Kirk out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a good lineup. They've got the Vladdy Jr. guy that always going to give you a headache.
He's decent.
They've got the book of Bo Bichette. So we saw what Kopech did against the Yankees lineup. I think before the season started, we all might have picked this one over that Yankees lineup. No slight to what the Bronx Bombers had going on, but we were really excited about this Jays lineup. Michael Kopech doing some similar damage against this lineup would be equally impressive, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's possible. I saw some people saying, this is a lineup that's good against fastballs, but looking at the numbers and trying to figure out, how good they are against fastball, honestly, they're probably just an average team. the Toronto Blue Jays versus fastballs. And I've looked, in May, just, if maybe they've gotten better in the past month, just really in 2022, around average. Their isolated power against four-seam fastballs, 12th, so that's around average. Their hitting value versus fastballs is at negative 0.7, so basically at 0 right there, and that's for 17th in the majors. So nothing really stands out. And you look at yesterday, Kirk's home runs came off a changeup and a slider. Teoscar Hernandez's double came off a slider. So really, as long as you're avoiding Vlad Guerrero, I think that's the one guy you got to watch out for fastballs. And they have not seen a fastball like Michael Kopech. This is one of the top 5 best fastballs right now in Major League Baseball, and that's what we saw with the rest. The rest made that fastball look crisp, and that velocity stayed consistent through 7 innings. So as long as that's there, I'm expecting good stuff from Kopech.
And I heard Dylan Cease do an interview, I think it was with Pitching Ninja, saying that playing catch with Michael Kopech, it's so odd and it's like weird and scary because his fastball comes and it looks like it's going to hit you in the head. So it gets late life. So that's what the pitchers are seeing, or the hitters are seeing, with 100 miles per hour with like a upward trajectory, and that's going to be real tough. I usually root for round guys because I'm a round guy myself. I hope Mr. Kirk has a bad day. And speaking of other round guys or guys who used to be round, that Vladimir Guerrero Jr., his splits at home and away are weird. Yep. Maybe it's because of all the traveling that Blue Jays did last year and the year before. He's just not used to the Sky Dome or whatever the Rogers Center now. But he is like a below average player at the Rogers Center this year.
And that's like a pretty decent hitter's park, too. I mean, that's like 327 down the line. I mean, that's nothing crazy. So a guy that's built like that, you'd think that he'd be having better luck in Toronto. And, Josh Donaldson and Jose Bautista had some great power seasons out in Toronto. So it is surprising.
Swinging early, Jose Bautista. That was all he was doing.
Well,
he learned how to swing earlier.
He did it.
It worked.
It worked. Joey Bats follows me on Twitter, by the way.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, it's
everybody and their mama.
He's very generous. Let's go to the starting pitching matchup. We got a guy who the White Sox almost signed back in 2019. It was Dallas Keuchel, not Jeff Samardzija, the other guy, Madison Bumgarner, and Hyun-Jin Ryu, free agents, all left-handers.
Poor Mad Bum.
Yeah, getting Jeff Samardzija, long hair and tall.
Man's almost a Hall of Famer. You're like, just bum. Jeff Samardzija's the same.
Well, I mean, his last name is
former
Bum.
Giants pitchers. Yeah, long hair.
Mad Bum. But Ryu on this year, 23 innings pitched. Herb said to avoid the ERA, but it is at 5.48 this year. 27 hits allowed, 12 Ks to 4 walks, and an ERA plus of 71. Kopech, 42 innings pitched, an ERA of 129. 17 hits allowed, 39 Ks, 19 walks, and a stupid ERA plus of 3.03.
Is that good?
3.03? It is good. MLB average is 100.
My God.
Usually, I think the greatest ever season was Pedro Martinez at like 200. So if he kept this pace for the entire year, I think he'd probably set a record, maybe 2. But yeah, definitely stupid stuff from Michael Kopech.
And I like Steven double checking, like making sure that it wasn't a typo.
I wasn't even double checking
good.
that. I was
like,
just
did I mess it up?
surprised he does not have the highest ERA plus in the majors. I see 3.03. I just assume that's got to be the best, and somehow it's not.
Verlander?
Well, also it's not. It's not
early.
It's right, and it's not normalized, right? It's not qualified. So like some guy could have gone out there and thrown an inning of relief and like struck out 3 guys on 9 pitches, and his ERA plus is through the roof or something, right?
Yeah, and why I say don't look at the ERA and say, oh, this guy's a bum, is because he had 2 bad starts to start this year off, and then he went on the IL, I think, with like forearm inflammation. Came back his next 3 starts. He's been under 2 earned runs each of them. Last start, I think he went 5 innings and gave up 6 hits with no earned runs versus the Angels. So he's not of the 5.48 ERA. He's much better pitcher than that. So don't just look at this and say, okay, the White Sox should eat because he's a left-hander and a bad pitcher. He's not a bad pitcher at all.
No, he's not a bad pitcher, and the thing that KPW said is that he's had some arm soreness, so he might not be throwing as fast as he normally does. So really, what it is this is a guy that they should take advantage of. This is a weakened left-handed pitcher, so if he doesn't have his top stuff, hopefully the White Sox can take advantage. I was surprised to see that they were plus money on the money line today at plus 105. You have Michael Kopech on the bump. You're going up against a lefty. This is a team that is healthier. You have Robert and Pollock returning to the lineup. It just does feel like this team June might be a good month. I mean, you talked about Tony liking winning months. They just had a winning month in May, 15 and 12. I feel like June might be another one.
It's possible. I mean, listen, we keep saying it, right? It's not that you look at this team and you go, "Oh my God, how could they ever turn this around? How could they ever hit?" You're sitting there like, we're waiting for them to hit, right? And sometimes waits have an end, and so and sometimes that can mean tomorrow. Sometimes that can mean tonight. Sometimes it could mean middle of September. But it's a lineup that is still stacked. You talk about Robert being back, Moncada back tomorrow. Eloy Jimenez is in the lineup tonight for Charlotte on his rehab assignment, so that's not too far off. Underachieving to this point, absolutely. Very surprising compared to what the expectations were in the preseason, absolutely. But it's still the same group of guys, and there's nothing so far other than Dallas Keuchel being removed from the roster.
Right.
There's really nothing so far that has changed in terms of what the talent says that these guys are capable of doing. It's just you got to do it.
Yeah, and health. I mean, with TA going down, I mean, that's a newer one, but they just scored 5 runs. Eloy, I mean, but it's still, I mean, they just scored 5 runs. And speaking of Eloy, he's back. He's back in the lineup tonight down in Charlotte. So he is making his return, so that's good to see. We'll see, hopefully, Eloy returning to the White Sox soon. And also an update on Kopech. Right now, Martin Perez of the Texas Rangers leads the major leagues in ERA plus at 273. So I think it's...
so it is
it's an
innings-based. It is a qualifier. Okay.
And they will see Alek Manoah, who's got the 4th best ERA plus in Major League Baseball at 218 tomorrow. And then on Friday, I think it is, they'll see Shane McClanahan of the Rays, who has an ERA plus of 173. We also did see...
Shane, don't call me Rue McClanahan.
Oh,
man, come on now.
You got to help me out.
Golden
here,
Girls.
Oh.
Blanche?
Which one's Betty White?
That was, I forgot her real name.
Her character's name. You mean her fake name?
Yeah, her fake name. Yeah, Blanche was Rue McClanahan. She was kind of the
old one,
slutty one.
No, the oldest one,
Rue,
right? Yeah.
Rue was
the oldest one was Estelle Getty, but she was actually younger than her daughter in that show.
Gotcha.
Or the same age.
Gotcha.
Rose was Betty White's name in Golden Girls.
Oh, okay, but so Rue McClanahan was the actress that played Blanche.
Blanche Dubois.
Blanche is a name?
No, Blanche Dubois is from the play.
Oh,
from Streetcar Named Desire.
Oh, I thought his name was Dubois. Blanche something.
I just, if you had a party.
It's for
I didn't think I'd be Googling this.
If you had a party.
If you had a party, what is it? Yeah, if you had a party, what's this theme song?
Invited everyone you knew.
I was just trying to.
Thank you for being a friend.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you would see the biggest gift would be from me. Card attached would say, "Thank you for being a friend."
Pitching probables were released too this weekend for the White Sox.
I was pitching right now.
It means they wouldn't have to face Shane McClanahan.
Oh, they'll face Rue McClanahan, her disgusting screwball. Vince Velasquez is joining the starting rotation this weekend when the Sox take on the Rays. It will be Velasquez, Cease, and Giolito this weekend for the Rays and Sox. So I did think it was interesting for Velasquez,
Devereaux.
but kind of Blanche Devereaux. Okay, so Devereaux, Dubois.
I was close.
I get it.
That's in the book.
Thank you for being a French.
Thank you for being a French.
Not even a dad yet. Quality dad jokes, though.
You guys want to talk about Vince Velasquez?
Nope.
Clearly not. I just thought it was interesting seeing Vince Velasquez going to the starting rotation. They want to get Michael Kopech more rest. This is how they do it. Whatever. No?
What do you mean? I mean,
he's
he's in the starting rotation because Dallas Keuchel's not. Right? I mean, eventually, I mean, they've got these off days, and they're going to use them to their advantage. But eventually, you're going to run into a point where you need 5 starting pitchers to make sure that your other 4 are getting the 4 days that they need. Obviously, they ran into an issue where they had to rearrange things because Dylan Cease couldn't go to Toronto, as we found out. And so now Vince Velasquez is going to be pitching against Tampa. That is something that was going to have to happen because Lance Lynn is not coming back until the middle of June. And so it was actually like you could have said, well, maybe they have time until Lynn comes back to decide on Keuchel. but they made the decision on Keuchel because they had to, because he was pitching so poorly. But Vince Velasquez would have to go out there. If it wasn't him, they have to call up Davis Martin again, or do a more traditional bullpen day. Velasquez has been okay. And so I think the idea is they would have rather thrown him than thrown Dallas Keuchel against the Rays on Friday.
Well, and Vince Velasquez has seen the Rays before. It wasn't great. 4 2/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 walks, I think 3 earned runs. But it's not like the Rays have been good. And Wander Franco not going to be playing this weekend as well. So that makes that lineup much worse. So I'm fine with just as long as it gets us to Lance Lynn and we don't have to see Dallas Keuchel. I'm fine. I see Jesus Shutterworth saying I don't really trust Velasquez. I've watched him, way too many terrible games from him in Philly. He does have an ERA of 5. Like, it's not like he's been great in Chicago, but there's been enough there where as long as it's to get us to June, whatever, Father's Day possibly for a Lance Lynn return, it's all right. And honestly, I was more surprised seeing Vince Velasquez just rejoin the rotation because I thought they already still had 5. I thought Cueto, Kopech, Giolito, Cease.
Right.
And then Velasquez.
Well, that's
so
4,
I just
though.
don't know how to count.
Right, yeah.
That's
the Golden Girls of the White Sox rotation, if you will.
I love that. The best way to support CHGO is the best way to be a friend, right? Thank you for being a friend, and the best way to be a friend to us here at CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you do that right now, you get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. If that's not it, if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from a CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from a CHGO locker, all for making more than a $50 first-time deposit at PointsBet. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we will help you out. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone, because online sign-up is available in Illinois. You could sign up with the fastest sportsbook easier than ever, so you could start living your bet life in seconds. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Herb, I mentioned it earlier. White Sox are favorites on the money line tonight at plus 105. I think it's good value. So if you're looking for a bet tonight, if you're looking to place some money somewhere tonight, use the PointsBet app and maybe, just maybe, put some money on the White Sox. I think that they can take one game from Toronto this series. Maybe it was yesterday. We don't know. They lost. I don't know how you guys feel tonight, but I think they got a fighting chance for sure.
All things are stacking up. For what the roster is, this lineup looks nice. It's set up pretty nicely. You have your best pitcher going to the bump, and Michael Kopech, and a guy in Hunjiru who's
your best pitcher?
3.03 ERA plus. Yeah, I mean, yes, Lucas Giolito's our ace, but this man has shown this year he's probably the best pitcher going right now for the White Sox. You would argue that?
Dylan Cease's been good.
It's tough to argue. Yeah. I mean,
Dylan Cease's been good.
Kopech's been good. Giolito's been good.
That's the problem with having great starters. It's an awesome problem to have.
He's just became a starter.
That's what we call a good problem. That's what we call a good problem, Sean. I'm happy that he's starting. I know when we're going to get a quality effort out of him. So, yes, this is our opportunity to grab a W tonight and then worry about tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully you're playing with house money tomorrow. You're able to go in and maybe take 2 or 3 from Toronto. But, lefties, I mean, the White Sox, this is where they should take advantage of. You're going up against 2 elite right-handers in Manoah and Gausman, and now you got a lefty on the bump. Is there anything you're looking out for in this game, Vinny? Is it the fact that, Robert's coming back? Is it Pollock at the top of the lineup? Andrew Vaughn and his continued maturation? Jose Abreu's been hot. What's the biggest storyline maybe on the offensive side that you're looking out for?
Well, I mean, I think getting Luis Robert back is something that, points towards fuller health, points towards another guy in the lineup that can try to get them going. TA's not there. Someone's going to need to pick up the slack, as we keep talking about. Luis Robert is kind of the no-brainer guy that you would think to kind of shoulder the load here while TA's out. The thing I'm looking for, you're looking for this offense to wake up, and the way that you do that is by stringing hits together. Mm-hmm. And so you need a rally. You need a couple crooked numbers up there. You're not going to, as we've seen with the White Sox, you're not going to win games in bunches by, getting a home run in the second inning and pushing one across in the fourth and then, adding some insurance in the eighth. If you do that every day, you're not going to win in bunches. You're going to go 500 maybe, which is what the White Sox have done so far. So they need to throw up, some 3s and some 4s against some pitchers at some point today if that offense is going to get going, and today is just as good as any day to do it, right?
And sometimes it feels nice when they can score in 3 separate frames. Sometimes it only feels like 1 inning of 9 they can score in. So if they're able to put up, some crooked numbers tonight, I think a lot of White Sox fans will take a big, deep sigh of relief tonight. I totally screwed that up. But Eli Stein's picking Jose Abreu for his click to pick. Herb, who you going with tonight?
I'm going with Eli. My man Eli, and Paul's going with me. That you're going to lose then, Paul. You're going to lose money. I'm going
You're
with
always
Abreu.
clicking. Come on.
You guys picked better players, so you guys picked.
Well, you showed up late.
I did.
That's on you.
That's correct.
Better
But
players, you got Jose Abreu.
I had to downshift to this
MVP.
This former MVP, Jose
Former.
Abreu. This garbage player in Jose Abreu who's been hitting everything in sight and walking whenever he gets a chance. So Jose Abreu, reluctantly.
And KPW saying last time Sox faced Ryu, he went 3 2/3 innings and gave up 7 hits and 7 runs. Abreu and Robert took him deep. So Vinny, nice pick, huh?
La Pantera, he's back. He's got to start swinging. Like you guys mentioned earlier, when he came back from his extended absence last season, that is when he caught the most fire that we've seen Luis Robert catch so far. You don't want to say that it requires an IL stay every year to get him going, but certainly this is the kind of guy who we have seen heat up in a big way. Going to have to do it eventually this year, so why not start it tonight?
Why not tonight? Jesus Shuttleworth saying, I'm going with Yaz until he gets going. Too bad he's not playing tonight.
Maybe come off the bench with a
Pinch
home
hit,
run.
big pinch hit appearance.
Hey, that's true. We really haven't gone into that world. I did see our guy Wayne say he was going with Michael Kopech, but we're not picking pitchers. We're always going offensive starters, I guess. So Yasmani Grandal and Michael Kopech don't count, but we do appreciate the input. And we got Jason J picking AJ Pollock, and my guy Matthew Cortese. He knows where it's at. Andrew Vaughn is going off tonight. That's my click to pick here. I think he's just going to continue the hot streak. He looked so good yesterday. It would really be dumb to go away from him. And he's going up against a left-hander who doesn't throw too hard. I think Andrew Vaughn will have a nice day. And it's all good, Jesus. You don't have to check the lineups. And it is musical lineups. Another game, another different lineup. 48 games, 48 different lineups.
You're forgiven of your sin, Jesus.
Yes, you are forgiven of your sins. We'll see if the White Sox can hang a crooked number tonight in Toronto against Hyun-Jin Ryu. Game starts in about 8 minutes, so we will see you after the final out is made. For Vinnie Duber, you can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He'll be providing game updates all throughout the game. We got Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at AcknerWall23. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. We'll also be tweeting out updates from at CHGO_White Sox, and you'll be notified once we go live after the game for our post-game show if you follow us there. So make sure you follow all of us on Twitter, and you're making sure you're in the post-game show because we have a lot of fun. And it should be fun if the White Sox win because we haven't had, we guess we had one on Sunday, but also TA went down. We haven't had like a good, healthy win with all 3 of us in studio in a while. So hopefully one comes tonight. Enjoy the game, and we will talk to you after. For Stephen Nicholas, we will see you later. Go Sox.